Welcome to Figuring Out the Bible. This is episode 6. Today we're talking about Genesis chapter 6, which is the beginning of the Noah / the flood story. So with that in mind, quick disclaimer, these are just my thoughts. This is not educational. This is me just reading the Bible, giving my general ideas and notions about what's going on. And yeah, it's not meant to be educational, not meant to be authoritative, except for the actual reading part. But then again, that's the authority of the Bible, not me. Chapter 6 is kind of a... Chapter 6 is one of those chapters that's very tricky to understand. There's a lot of things in Genesis chapter 6 that people like to point to for super out there things. So let's do the reading and we'll get into the rest. So starting at verse 1. When man began to multiply on the face of the land, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of man were attractive, and they took as their wives any they chose. Then the Lord said, My spirit shall not abide in man forever, for he is flesh. His days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of man, and they bore children to them. These were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on earth, and it grieved him to his heart. So the Lord said, I will blot out man whom I have created from the face of the land, man and animals and creeping things and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry that I made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God, and Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. And God saw the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make for yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and out with pitch. This is how you are to make it. The length of the ark will be 300 cubits, its breadth 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Make a roof for the ark, and finish it to a cubit above, and set the door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. For behold, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life under heaven. Everything that is on the earth shall die, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female, of the birds according to their kinds, and of the animals according to their kinds, of every creeping thing of the ground according to its kind. 2 of every sort shall come into you, and shall come in to you to keep them alive. Also take with you every sort of food that is eaten, and store it up. It shall serve as food for you and for them. Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him. So first of all, we get the general idea. The population of mankind grew. and then they fell away from God, much like we see. This is kind of the continuation and the real escalation of the pattern of, we're close to God, we fall away from God, God warns us, bad things happen, we come back to God. It's this cycle that continues and still continues to this day. It's really, really prominent in, throughout the whole Bible, really. So let's get into this. So starting off, it says, when man began to multiply in the face of the land, and daughters were born to them. So there, to me, because Adam and Eve were not the first humans made, it tells me that the man there that they're talking about is the original group of humans made in Genesis 1. And then later, and then it continues, the land and daughters were born to them. The sons of God saw that the daughters of man were attractive. Now, who are the sons of God? Those are the descendants of the Adam lineage. So we've got the early man made in Genesis 1, and then we have the, shall we say, Adamic lineage man, or we'll just go with Adamic man. So the Adam's lineage is the sons of God. The sons of the daughters of man were the early humans. And they took as their wives any they chose. So that's the sons of Adam having taking wives and having children with the daughters of the original man, the early man, so to speak. Then the Lord said, my spirit shall not abide in man forever, for he is flesh. So, simply put, that confirms that the sons of God are man. That there's no divine beings mentioned in this passage. So just keep that in mind. My spirit shall not abide in man forever, for he is flesh. His days shall be 120 years. Okay, so a lot of people say that's God capping how old humans can live to. I've taken to the notion that it's not that. It's actually, it's like a doomsday counter. Because God says this, and then Noah is mentioned later on. So this probably happened before Noah was born, and then, or no, not before Noah was born. Let's see, 120. So Noah would have been approximately 480 years old when this first bit happened, because he was 600 when the floodwaters hit. So 600 minus 120, that gives us 480. So that's kind of how I'm figuring all this out. And then the Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of man, and they bore the children to them. These were the mighty men of old, who were of old, the men of renown. Okay, so the Nephilim were giants. That's what it boils down to. Is they were just flesh and blood humans like us, maybe not Homo sapiens, maybe Neanderthals or Cro-Magnon, whatever, a different breed of human, but they were humans, they were man. They were just a lot bigger. And everyone says, oh, the giants were like 20 feet tall. No, they were probably, it was probably more like they were, keep in mind, people in those days were actually pretty short, like 5'6" was pretty decent height back then. So if someone was like 6'6", they would tower over everyone else. 7 foot tall, they'd be a monster. So when it says giants, they're probably guys or people about my height, 6-7 feet tall, that general area. And they were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. To me, that kind of sounds like the heroes from like Greek mythology, like Hercules, for example. Kind of sounds like that. People who were really guys who were really out there to make a name for themselves, to find glory, to be a hero, that sort of thing. Because that's really what the Hercules story, for example, is all about. Is he's setting out to find glory and to prove himself a hero and so on and so forth. Anyways, and then so God gives us the sort of doomsday clock, and then he continues. The Lord God saw that the wickedness of man, all of his intentions and thoughts were evil, and it says, and the Lord was sorry that he had made man on earth, and it grieved him to his heart. So, to me, that sounds a lot like how I feel when I see my son acting out in an atrocious way. Like, it hurts. It hurts me right here in my heart. I mourn. I regret a lot of what I've done for that. A lot of what I've taught my son and shown him through my own actions, for example. And I regret. I never regret, having a son, but I do regret my actions in teaching him and whatnot. So that's what I feel like God was kind of going through, is he was seeing his children make all of these horrific choices and straying so far from what is right and good that it hurt him to watch, especially since he much like I have respect that they are their own individual people and they have their own right to make their own choice. That goes back to the free will thing. Without free will, we are just drones, and evil has to exist for us to have the choice of God or not God, basically. So that's what it's talking about there, is how it grieved him to his heart. He was hurting because he was watching his children stray so far. Now, it is massively different. He literally created everything, so he's the father of everything. So it is different than me and my son, but that seems to be where his mind was at that time. Is he was hurting because he was watching his children stray so far, and then it says, and then he decides, okay, I'm going to destroy it all. The men, the animals, the creatures, creeping things on the ground, all of it. It's all going to die. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So, to me, I think God was literally going to wipe the board, clear everything, and start over. Maybe he was just going to wipe out all life on earth and just be done with it. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So to me, that kind of says, well, God was going to wipe everything out. Saw Noah's like, you know what? I can use him to make a better future. So that's what I'm going to do. And then it gives the generations of Noah, telling about his three sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth. We'll get more into them later. And then, so, again, it reiterates how corrupt and evil the world is, how it's full of violence and corruption and all that. God tells Noah, okay, I'm going to destroy everything, so build an ark, and then you, your wife, your son, your three sons, and their wives. Each son only had one wife, by the way. Just throwing that out there, because that'll come up again in chapter 7. Make the ark, you, your sons, the wives of every man respectively. Everyone get on the boat. Take. I will have 2 of each type of a male and a female of every type of animal come to you, and they will be on the boat or on the ark with you. So there, and then God gives Noah the directions for building the ark. So God says, make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Gopher wood, we're not entirely sure. Personally, I like I ascribe to the theory that gopher wood is almost like a plywood, like a layered kind of wood thing. I lost my place. Gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark, cover it inside and out with pitch. So pitch is a great waterproofer, especially when it dries. Like it's had plenty of time to dry and set and all that. And water doesn't really mess with it too much. So lots of rooms, sealed with pitch. It's going to be 300 cubits long. Let's see, I wrote down here we go. That's going to be 450 feet long, 50 cubits wide, which would be about 75 feet, and its height will be 30 cubits, which will be 45 feet. So it's not a small boat. It's bigger than a football field, easily. Make a roof for the ark and finish it to a cubit above. Honestly, if you just want to see what the ark looked like, just go online, type in Noah's Ark. There's plenty of examples. So yeah, it's got like a roof above it, and then the main big doors on the side of the vessel, and then make it with lower, second, and third decks. So it'll have like the top deck, mid deck, bottom deck, and then it maybe would have had like an outside top deck. I don't know. Probably not. Maybe it's just like the outside top deck is the top deck, and then I don't know. I haven't really looked at it all that closely into what it would have actually been like. And then yeah, I'm gonna destroy everything with the breath of life. 2 of every animal, and then yeah, I will also, and then the last thing God says is also take with you every sort of food that is eaten and stored up. It shall serve as food for you and for them. So that's basically saying it's going to be a while. Take enough food for you, your sons, all of your guys' wives, and the animals. And yeah. Okay. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Oh, the wickedness that. Well, no. We'll skip over the wickedness because it really doesn't tell a whole lot besides like violence and stuff like that. Though I will point out, polygamy seems to be one of the sins that was running rampant at the time. Polygamy and sexual immorality as a whole. Basically, people were doing just like they are today and banging anything that moves, from what it sounds like. But that would also be why in chapter 7 it's specifically mentioned that that Noah and each of his sons had one wife respectively, So Shem had one wife, Japheth had one wife, Ham had one wife, Noah had one wife. There was only 8 humans on the ark, and they were all of the Adamic lineage. Okay, so that's all I had to talk about this time. Like I said, it was tricky to figure out exactly what I was gonna put in. I hope you enjoyed the video. I would love it if you could comment down below, give me your thoughts on what's going on. And I would absolutely love to hear any just general ideas y'all have or questions you might have that you'd like me to try and tackle. Anyways, thanks for watching again. I am so glad that you're here, and I will see you next time. Adios.